Now it's time to introduce my next artist on my show. My next artist interviewee we have joining me, Sarah Reeves. Warm welcome, and it is a delight to have you on my show today. How are we doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, and you're very welcome. Where are you in the world at the moment?
I'm actually home. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. That's where I live. So I just actually had a show yesterday in New Mexico, in America, and I just got in last night and woke up this morning. It's 10 a.m. my time. I know it's what is it, 4 your time?
Yep, that's correct. Always 6 hours.
Yeah.
Some difference, isn't there?
Yeah. So I am just drinking some coffee and starting my morning with
M-
you.
Marvelous, brilliant way to start the day. So, my first question for you, I was going to ask, what made you decide to pursue a career in entertainment?
Well, I started very young. I grew up in a small town in Alabama, and my family, pretty much all of my siblings, are musical. And my dad built us a studio when we were younger, and we started recording music, writing songs, playing in. I started out playing in like the church world and a lot of gospel music and traveling and things like that. And eventually, when I was about 17, I met an artist named Plum, and I opened for her at a festival and gave her a copy of my CD at the time. It was terrible at the time because I was so young, but I think she saw the potential in me as an artist, and she called me the next day. She's like, I've never done this before, but I want to bring you up to Nashville and really help you get connected in music. And so sat down with a bunch of record labels and management and booking agents and everything at the age of, yeah, I was 17. I had just graduated high school and went straight into it and toured for about 3 years. And then everything kind of fell apart. And, I had to build it from the ground up again. So it's just been this journey for the last like 15 years of finding myself as a person and then as an artist and writing songs and evolving. So, but I knew pretty early on that I wanted to do music because that's kind of it's just in my blood.
That's good. And I hear, if it's true or not, you were born in Athens, which is actually in Alabama.
It is, yes, yes.
And it's nicely sandwiched between Birmingham in the south and Nashville in the north.
Right, exactly.
Lovely. And I'm here to talk also about your exciting new music you're releasing. Your track is called Get Back Your Fight. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
And next question is, what is the message in this song?
Yes. So this song is one of those that came at the last minute. So I actually recorded an album about a year ago and, had everything written, produced, mixed, mastered, and and at the same time was just going through like a massive personal transition in my life and just a really tough time, to be honest with you. And so I ended up moving and just getting counseling and therapy and just kind of felt like I needed to really shut out the voices for a minute as far as like co-writing. And I knew I still wanted to make music because that is in itself therapy for me. And I love it, but I just felt like I needed to kind of go back to my roots, which was writing by myself. And so in this room that I'm in right now, I got this about a year ago and I just started um, making music. I really wanted to be more in the production space and not just writing lyric and melody, but also making the music and the tracks. And so lots of YouTube tutorials, lots of calling my friends that are producers, being like, how do you do this, and what's this plugin for, and and so really just kind of started falling in love with the music and in the meantime, my label, my team was like, we really want you to post on social media, like you do the TikToks and the Instagrams like every day. And I'm like, okay, how am I going to do that and still, do what I love? And so I thought, and also just like there's so many artists on TikTok that are promoting their music and it's all like, here's my new song. And I'm like, well, how can I do that but still, to stand out, so there's not a ton of females doing production. So I thought, well, maybe I'll just like turn my phone on, turn the camera around, and just like film my process. and post it on the internet. And I think that kind of got some traction. And obviously I'm a top liner, which means writing lyric and melody. And so, top like songs would come on top of these tracks and I would post them. And this song, Get Back Your Fight, came on March 1st this year. I wrote the verse and the chorus and started it out as like a cinematic track. I posted it on Instagram and I just knew when I posted, I felt like this song is going to connect with people, because it was very vulnerable. Like I said, this year has just been me kind of doing some deep work in my heart, and finding my strength when I didn't even know it was there. There was so many nights where I was just on the floor bawling my eyes out. And then the next day I felt like I could conquer the world, and just all these different emotions. So I just put it out in song and people started connecting with it. And I saw the numbers growing and I'm like, what the heck is happening? And eventually I'm like, okay, I need to write a second verse. I wrote the second verse, posted that. And my team is like, we want to release this song, because it's going viral. And I'm like, what? So I ended up finishing it and just released it last Friday. So it's out in the world.
That's lovely to hear. And this record, will it lead to like more records in the future?
Yes, so I have, like I said, I have an album that's ready to go. So it has 16 songs on it actually, and that's coming out in September of this year. And before that, I have two more singles coming out as well this summer. So yeah, definitely more music, lots of music.
Keep him
Yes.
busy then. And if I
Yeah,
stand correct, last year you did a Christmas EP.
I did, yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, was that fun? And was it just a little bit of a change from your usual styles?
Totally.
Mm,
Yes. I always have wanted to make a Christmas album, but Um, I didn't want to make it, like my pop stuff. I wanted, like, to me, Christmas is its own genre of music. So there's like a specific sound. To me, it's like jazzy, traditional. When I listen to Christmas music, I turn on vinyl records of like Nat King Cole, Bing Crosby, Frank Sinatra. So I'm like, okay, if I do a Christmas album, it's going to be like jazzy and traditional. So we actually went into the studio in the middle of July and I bought Christmas sweaters for all of us, the producers, and we had jazz musicians come in and record everything live. And we wrote even the originals that we wrote on this album. I was like, well, if I'm gonna write a song, a new song, I want it to sound like it still fits in with that era of music, like in the like 40s, 50s, kind of vibe. And so we did that and eventually released it, and I'm just very happy with it. It's out. We released it a couple years ago, but the thing that I love about
mm,
Christmas is just is becomes new every year,
mm,
and we're also adding a couple more Christmas songs. I'm actually going in the studio next week to
mm.
record another Christmas song. So yeah, we're adding Christmas this year, so I'm excited about that. Yeah.
Because not many people know that when these big Christmas hits that you recorded in the summer.
Oh yeah, it was like 100 degrees outside, and we were inside making. I had like Christmas trees and Christmas lights in the
Mm,
studio, and then Christmas sweaters. I had my producer make like Christmas cocktails, and just really tried. But
mm.
it was so fun. It was such a fun experience. One of my favorite like recordings that I've ever been a part of.
Getting into the spirit of things. And what is the key to connecting with your audience? Are you going to go on tour in the future?
I would love
Mm,
to, yes. I do have a lot of like one-off events that I'm doing this year, but I'm hoping to, that's the goal, is to get on a tour hopefully this
mm,
fall, or even the spring next year
mm,
would be ideal. But yeah, I love to perform live, so I'm really hoping to take it out on the
mm.
road.
And
Mhm.
can you tell me if there's any clubs you like to work with, or do you just like, being your own boss, independent?
Yeah, no, I definitely love to
Mm,
collaborate. It's one of my favorite things because I feel like, you know, if you get someone in the room that has a strength maybe that you're a little bit weaker in, like I think there's so much power in number. For me it's just about collaborating with people that I love and trust, because it's a little bit hard for me to like open up right away because it's so weird. Like people that aren't in the music industry sometimes ask me like, what is it like writing a song with
Mm,
people? And for so long, it was just sitting down with a stranger every single day and, hoping that something would come out, but having to like share your life story and be vulnerable with
mm,
someone and be like, okay, well, maybe a song can come out of this. But what I've found is it's a lot easier for me to collab with people that like I just know I can be myself and honest and
mm,
vulnerable and they're the same. We work well together. So I still write with random stranger a
mm,
lot, but for my own stuff, like and specifically for this project, I kind of wanted to keep it tight.
mm,
Um, so yeah, but I do love collaborating. But also this year I've been writing a ton by myself, and I love that as well because then I could just take my time and not worry about who's in the room, and that's also fun. So I like both.
mm. And finally, my question here is how has faith guided you through the music business? Because the music business can be a bit unpredictable, ruthless at times.
Oh, definitely.
Mm,
Yeah. It's ever changing. The music industry is, and you really have to be steady in who you are. And faith has been a huge thing for me throughout this whole process. But I've really had to just surround myself with like good, healthy people. And just be confident in who I am, because it's easy to get lost in the business and also just like comparing yourself to this person. There's always going to be people that are doing it at a higher
mm,
level. And so it's easy for me to get caught up in, especially social media,
mm,
just like, what is everybody else doing? And then you get these feelings of like insecurities and rejection and all these things start creeping in. So what I've found is just like really staying in my lane, having faith in God and surrounding myself with good people
mm.
that are trustworthy and like minded, that has been just a huge just grounding and foundation for everything that I do.
And also, you have an official website. The most, I suppose, these days, the power of Google, just type in Sarah Reeves, and my listeners can give you a follow on all social medias.
Yeah, definitely. My website sarahreevesmusic.com, but yeah, I'm on Instagram, TikTok. I think it's just under Sarah Reeves Music. So yeah, people can definitely find me there.
Grand. Well, thank you very much for joining me today and being very, very open about your musical voyage. I'm going to play your
Yeah.
new track now on my show. And would you like to introduce it on? This is the Dennison UK syndicated show.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you so much for having me. And again, my name is Sarah Reeves, and this is my new song, Get Back Your Fight.
Thanks for joining me again, and all the best with your music and this new single.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me and for all your support. I appreciate
So,
it.